Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Game on Cloud9 here, and I'm here to bring you guys a new crossover battles video. Well, actually, this isn't a new crossover battles video. This is actually going to be a response video to King of Lightning's crossover battle video, Sasuke vs. Hiei. Now, if you haven't seen King of Lightning's crossover battle, Sasuke vs. Hiei yet, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you have, but some of you may actually haven't, then I'm going to go ahead, of course, link it down below in the description, so make sure you check that out. But before I get started actually on the response part of this video, I just want to go ahead and say that I apologize for a lot of you guys on my channel that may actually have been wanting to see a crossover battle video for some time, and you may have even subbed for that reason, and you haven't been getting that. I mean, honestly, just to put it very simply, I've been really busy, guys. I mean, I know that may sound like something you guys are like, yeah, but come on, why haven't we been seeing them? It's been months. But I mean, it's really hard to fit in my schedule sometimes to do a crossover battle video, because crossover battles videos require for me to actually look up different information on the characters. A lot of times I like to go ahead and watch some of the fights over again so I can form my own opinion on what I think the character is capable of doing. I also look at the wiki sites, try to gather a lot of different things together, and then on top of that, I usually try to go ahead and, you know, either write out some notes or look off my computer and be able to have everything in front of me in order to be able to make the video and structure it the right way. So, I mean, I haven't really been putting them out like that because I feel like sometimes it requires not a ton of work, but a bit, I guess you could say a bit more than what actually I'm capable of doing sometimes, since I do have a pretty busy schedule. I mean, I am a full-time student and I have a job, so, you know, and I'm sorry, you know, if you guys kind of didn't even feel like hearing me say all this in the middle of this video, but I mean, I'm just telling y'all, to put it simply, sometimes I'm really busy, but probably maybe around the holiday or maybe next semester, or I guess you could say next year, I'll probably be able to come out with probably a lot more crossover battles videos than you've probably been seeing on my channel lately. Some of you may even forgot I did them, but anyway, let me just get into the response part of this video. So, King, some of the things I actually have to say, I agree with in your video. I do. But I don't know, some of the things though, I mean, as far as certain feats you were giving, like Hiei over Sasuke, I couldn't get down with. Now, let me just start off by saying, okay, you were talking about Sasuke's lifting and striking strength being truck plus in Susanoo, and his base strength being like a car. I'm gonna have to kind of disagree on that. Like, Sasuke's lifting and striking strength, maybe, I'm not sure how much Susanoo can probably lift, so maybe you're right as far as maybe lifting strength, but as far as striking strength in Susanoo, I definitely would think it's at least like a skyscraper, a building, something like that. I wouldn't give it anything bigger than that, since, you know, it's not like Sasuke Susanoo has shown anything like Madara's. It's not obliterating mountains, like cutting mountains in two or anything crazy like that. But I definitely would say more than like a truck, unless I maybe heard you wrong or wrote down the wrong nuts. I definitely like thought I heard you say it was truck plus, which to me, I mean, I definitely think that, I mean, I've seen Sasuke be able to destroy things definitely larger than truck. Now, as far as base strength, you know, like you said, his base strength is like a car, I have to disagree with that a little bit as well. Maybe part one Sasuke, yeah, definitely. I mean, when he kicked that giant bear, because it wasn't like it was a normal sized bear. There was a giant bear when you actually look at the panel. I believe it was in the flashback with Karin had, where it was, you know, I think around 400, the 480s, something around there, when Sasuke used the Lion's Barrage, or Shishi Renden, I believe, on the giant bear. And at that particular time, now before I go ahead and actually give you this stat I'm about to give you, I tend to use data books a lot of times on my crossover battles videos. So if any of you guys out there are unaware of what data books are, basically they're different information. A lot of different series have them on what the character's standing is in their own respective series. Like in Naruto, the top thing you can get in different stats, like there's ninjutsu, taijutsu, of course, genjutsu, intelligence, strength, speed, stamina, hand seals, and basically the highest stats you can get in any of those respective categories is a 5. Now, Sasuke in part 1 in the beginning had a 2 in strength, and Sasuke's and like I guess you could say in part 2, what he got in the third data book in strength was a 3.5, which actually is a pretty big jump. So I definitely do think that Sasuke's strength is definitely a lot bigger than a car. I mean, I definitely think he could, I'm not going to say he can do much more than like maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think of an actual, like, particular feat. I mean, I think I'm just saying, I think he can do a little bit more than a car. I'll put it that way. Now, when you said Hiei can destroy a pyramid, no, I definitely couldn't get down with that. Yes, Hiei does have more destructive power in terms of physically than Sasuke. His striking strength is greater than Sasuke. So if anybody out there is wondering, like, how does that make sense? If you look at Hiei's strength during the Dark Tournament Saga, and you look at that in comparison to Toguro, it's still pretty, I mean, even though it wasn't as great as Toguro at that time, his striking strength was pretty big, and he was only a lower B class. And I don't think it's as big as Sensui, though. Even though, yes, Sensui, you know, was at S class level, I don't think that makes Hiei automatically have as much striking strength as Sensui just because he's an S class. I mean, by that logic, then that would mean that in Naruto, Sasuke would have just as much striking strength as Raikage because he's at Kage level. You get what I mean? So I do think he has maybe he has greater than Toguro, maybe, I'll give him that, but I definitely don't think he can, like, destroy a pyramid or a mountain or anything on the level of Sensui, because he's never even shown that, at least not to my knowledge, going through the series and looking certain things over. I've never seen that. Now, as far as durability, when you talk about Sasuke with Susanoo having great, and without it, you said he had okay. And then when you go ahead and you talk about Hiei, you said Hiei was outstanding because he's had a hole punched through him by Zero, and he also was set on fire. So, I mean, I don't know, like, I definitely think that Hiei probably has maybe slightly better, like, durability than Sasuke in base form, but with Susanoo, no. I'm gonna have to say I would give Sasuke with Susanoo outstanding, and the reason why I'm saying that, we've seen people break Susanoo's ribcage, yes, but we've never really seen people actually break the like the actual fully formed Susanoo around Sasuke. At least not like that. I can't recall. Yes, we've seen people break Madara's, and Madara's and Sasuke's probably hold the same durability. But look at how much trouble people had to go through in order to be able to break through Susanoo. I'm like, I mean, Hiei, I've never seen anybody have that much trouble being able to harm him in terms of with physical brute force. You know, to where Susanoo, I mean, you know, literally you have to tear it down layer by layer, it seems. I mean, I think about even when Danzo was able to cut through a little bit of Susanoo with the wind style technique, he had to actually, I think he summoned, I forget what it was called, I think it was called like a Baku or some kind of giant summon, where it actually had to amplify, like by sucking up the like it was sucking up the bridge, that the samurai bridge that Sasuke and Danzo were fighting on. It amplified the wind technique and gave it more cutting power in order to be able to cut through Susanoo. So I mean, I would actually switch it around. I mean, Hiei's, I probably would give his durability at probably great, and I would give Susanoo outstanding due to the fact of how hard it is for people to actually break through, since it is probably, in fact, it is Sasuke's strongest defense. Now, the whole speed deal, I mean, I have to agree. Hiei is faster than Sasuke. He is. I mean, a lot of you out there may or may not, you know, disagree. May say, oh, Sasuke, he's known for speed. Although I don't think the gap is as big as you said, King. I really don't think the gap is as big. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, one, I mean, I kind of feel like you're underrating Rock Lee. I don't think that Rock Lee, even though I don't use Outskirts Battle Dome. For those of you who don't know what Outskirts Battle Dome is it's basically this site where it has these different stats on all these different characters, where basically people took different parts of, like, they took basically scenes out of the series and tried to actually apply real world physics to different anime and manga and basically do calculations to be able to come up with what they think their actual speed is. Which, I have my own reasons why I don't really like Outskirts Battle Dome, and mainly due to the fact that a lot of times in Outskirts Battle Dome, the way that they do these mathematical equations to try to figure out how certain things are, to me, it definitely isn't really accurate, because I feel like, how can you apply real world physics to an actual anime or manga? I mean, I seen one thing on Outskirts Battle Dome where it was talking about how like they were counting the amount of shuriken between Sasuke and Itachi to determine how fast they were throwing them, when you saw the amount of shuriken that were up in the air in the panel scene. Which to me, it's like, okay, well, what if the mangaka literally just didn't feel like drawing any more shuriken? Or how do you know the actual distance between the two characters to be able to actually calculate how long it took for them to throw it, or how fast they're throwing it, or, you know, I mean, just how to be able to calculate the amount of time that's passing. I feel as though you have to go by what either is said by the characters themselves, or go by what's in the data books, which, because the data books, they're considered secondary canon, but at the same time, they're still canon. They contain information on the characters, go more in depth with different techniques on different series. So that's what I use. But I definitely would say Rock Lee, I don't think he's you know, that much slower than Hiei. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, okay, take for example Haku. Now, you already know how it is with Haku. I'm not saying Haku is light speed, because I know we've had this discussion before about if Haku is light speed or not. I mean, I'm like, even though it said that in the data book, which, you know, I mean, I kind of feel like certain scenes in the manga now have kind of contradicted Haku being light speed. I definitely still think that he's probably faster than, let's say, like supersonic speed, considering the fact that when Haku fought against Sasuke, I mean, you see all the after images, like literally the crystal ice mirrors that he creates. He looks like he's in them all at the same time. Really, it's just after images of him actually appearing in each one of them. Like he's moving around in between all of them, and it looks like he's in all of them at the same time. Now, if you look at when Sasuke was, like, at that particular time, Sasuke, like, Haku has a 4 in speed. The top that you can get is a 5. But Sasuke at that particular time only had a 3, and his Sharingan wasn't even fully formed. I believe he only had 2 Tomo in one eye and 1 in the other. And even though it was hard for him to be able to keep up with Haku, he still was able to intercept him a few times, which to me, you know, would kind of say that I would kind of improve Sasuke's reaction speed from hypersonic, maybe to hypersonic plus. Even though I don't really go by what Outskirts Battle Dome says, I definitely, if I were to even say, like, Sasuke, put like an actual, like, what would you say? Like, if I were to say Sasuke was hypersonic or supersonic, any of those, I definitely would say Sasuke is hypersonic plus, due to the fact that even back then he was able to intercept Haku, and Haku only had a 4 in speed. Rock Lee is even faster than Haku, and that was actually with weights on, because Sasuke couldn't even keep up with Rock Lee the first time he fought against him. But then when Rock Lee took off the weights, he was even faster than that. And Gaara couldn't even follow. A lot of people had a hard time following Rock Lee. And then you said with Gates, Rock Lee is only supersonic plus. No, Rock Lee has to be hypersonic with the Gates on. He has to be. I mean, I don't think he's as fast as Hiei again, but I mean, I don't think he's far from it, which I definitely think if Sasuke only had 2 Tomo in one eye and 1 in the other when he fought against Haku, and I think he had 2 Tomo each eye when he fought against Rock Lee, and that was with weights on. You know, if you look at how Sasuke is now in Shippuden, Sasuke's speed in Shippuden is 4.5, which is, you know, almost, or at least that's what it was in the last data book. I mean, it may be a 5 now, who knows, but, you know, in the last data book, it was a 4.5, so that's in the beginning of Shippuden. In fact, his speed was considered so fast that Sakura even suspected that maybe he had been taking drugs. That was when they first saw Sasuke during the Sai and Sasuke arc, when he first made an appearance and you saw him leap down in front of Naruto. I mean, you know, the distance that happened, I mean, how quick he did it, they were still looking up on the peak where he was at, and he had already reached Naruto and already was, like, right in front of him and was ready to pull out his sword. So, I mean, I definitely think that Sasuke's speed, I would at least put it, like, his actual motion speed, I would probably say maybe hypersonic or maybe supersonic plus. His striking speed with Susanoo arrows, I definitely would say is faster than supersonic, and the reason why I'm saying that is because Kakashi has even had, like, probably everybody that Sasuke's attacked with the Susanoo arrows has had a hard time of reacting. They've always had to use some different kind of method to be able to avoid it. And, like, if you look at when he used the Kakashi had to use Kamui. He could not dodge it in time. And Kakashi's, if I'm correct, I think Kakashi's actual speed is a 4.5. So, or no, it may be a 4, and I think it's a 4. So, I mean, I definitely think, okay, Kakashi had a hard time doing it. He had to actually use Kamui. Danzo had to actually use Wood Style to be able to knock off the arrow's trajectory. So I think it's a bit faster than supersonic. I mean, at least supersonic plus, maybe hypersonic. When you said, I agree with the whole Kieran thing. Of course, it's lightning speed. And, you know, the reaction speed, like I said, I would give Sasuke with Sharingan, since he has a 3-tomo. I definitely would give it at least hypersonic plus. Hiei, of course, I agree. Everything would be hypersonic plus. You know, Hiei is incredibly fast. You know, there's no disputing that. Sasuke's stamina. Now, one thing I'd say about Sasuke's stamina, you said that Kakashi, you know, like, just like Kakashi, Sasuke, were, you know, like, he can't really use a lot of jutsu on a repeated basis that require large amount of chakra. But Sasuke actually is a bit different than Kakashi. Yes, he doesn't have, like, unlimited supply of chakra, but Sasuke, I mean, he's even been said to actually have, you know, like, a lot of chakra even at a young age, being an Uchiha and all. I mean, in fact, hold on one moment. One thing in particular that they actually say about Sasuke's chakra is that I know it was supposed to be incredibly powerful from a young age. Oh, for like even by Uchiha standards, Sasuke has exceptionally strong and large amount of chakra. And at the age of 7, he was already able to use the clan's signature fire release technique. Now, and that even surprised Kakashi. Kakashi, when he first like started fighting against like Team 7, when they first, of course, met up and they did the bell test. If you remember correctly, Kakashi was surprised at the fact that Sasuke as a genin could use fire style jutsu. And, you know, that right there speaks to the fact that, you know, Sasuke does have a large amount of chakra. I mean, when have you really seen Sasuke run out of chakra in part 2? In part 1, Sasuke was able to use 2 Chidoris, 2 Chidoris a day, and a 3rd Chidori after he activated the Cursed Seal. Now, I mean, you know, that wasn't really that much. I mean, if you look at, like then versus now, but I mean, now Sasuke can use, I mean, there's really no particular limit that Sasuke can use on Chidori. I mean, I'm pretty sure there is a limit, but it's not, like, as limited as it used to be, because Sasuke does have a lot more chakra than he used to have. And Kakashi, I think in part 1, could only use, like, I think like 3 Chidoris or 3 lightning blades a day. So, I mean, in a way, I guess you could say, Sasuke and Kakashi's chakra weren't far off from each other back then, since Sasuke is an Uchiha, and it was even high for an Uchiha. Kind of like how Madara is known for having high amount, or he was known for having a strong chakra in birth and having high amounts of it. So I guess you could say Sasuke is the same in the very same way. So I wouldn't say Sasuke would. I don't think chakra will really be a huge issue in his fight with Hiei, especially considering, I mean, yes, Hiei, he has went for several months straight fighting against 500 A-class demons, so Hiei does have greater stamina. But one thing that you kind of missed out on was the fact that Hiei, when he uses the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, that, I mean, I think there's only so many amount of times that he can use that without, I think, either passing out, dying, or like you said, falling into hibernation. Because, I mean, if I recall looking at some scenes over again, I mean, anytime Hiei used the Dragon of the Darkness Flame more than once a day, they would always get worried, like, what's going on, like, another dragon? Because, I mean, even during his fight with Sensui, I think Kurama and Kuwabara were surprised at the fact that Hiei used the dragon more than once. So, I mean, that's, in a way, just like how, like, Susanoo would be something that would wear out Sasuke, using the dragon is something that would wear out Hiei. Alright. Now, the next thing. As far as, like, their skill sets go, Hiei, you know, being a great swordsman, of course Sasuke's a great swordsman. I kind of feel like maybe Hiei's a slightly better swordsman, only due to the fact that, you know, Hiei, I don't know, like, the way Hiei seems to use his sword, to me, more than Sasuke seems to use his sword in combat. And he's used it for a longer amount of time. So, I mean, if it was just a straight swords challenge, if Sasuke wasn't using the Sharingan, Hiei was using his sword, I mean, I definitely would give it to Hiei. Although, of course, Sasuke would be using the Sharingan. So, in terms of hand-to-hand combat, you know, both of them competing with their, like, you know, they're both using their swords against each other, it definitely, I would say, would be pretty interesting to see, due to the fact that, you know, both of them are pretty skilled with it. Sasuke would be able to follow Hiei's movements, although the same time, Hiei is pretty fast, you know, and he's actually faster than Sasuke. So, I don't know. I guess I would say that in hand, if they were just clashing with blades, I may give the edge to Hiei due to the fact he's a little bit faster. I think, you know, I'd say it's probably about even in terms of hand, like, you know, in terms of close combat, in my opinion. Now, this is one thing that kind of threw me off in your video. When you talked about Kirin only being town level, but then the Dragon of the Darkness Flame being mountain level. No. No, that's definitely not the case. Like, when you look at that fight, when you're talking about the fight with Bui, and you're saying the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, you know, it knocked Bui into the mountain, on the side of the mountain. That definitely, it didn't even destroy the entire mountain. Yes, it did, like, you know, he did run into the side of the mountain, and yes, you know, you saw some rubble fall off the side of the mountain. Yes, it did take Bui out of the arena. But Kirin, like, it destroyed a mountain too. I mean, I don't know if you missed that, but when you saw Sasuke use Kirin, it didn't just destroy the hideout, it destroyed the mountain that the hideout was standing on. And I definitely think that since Kirin is faster than the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, which definitely is the case, I mean, Kirin has to be faster than the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. You look at all the build-up time that Hiei has to use to, or I guess Sasuke has to use a lot of build-up time too when he's using Kirin, but I definitely think in terms of, like, once the technique is made, I definitely think Kirin is definitely would be the winner if both the techniques would be used at the same time. So, I mean, Kirin to me is more powerful than the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. I mean, to me, what I would give the Dragon of the Darkness Flame in terms of destructive level is maybe it can destroy multiple skyscrapers. Maybe, yeah, you know, yeah, definitely multiple skyscrapers. I couldn't see it destroying a mountain unless maybe Hiei were to be able to get off like maybe two or three of them. I don't know, somewhere around in there. I mean, I don't see. You know what? I just can't see Hiei being able to destroy mountains with just one dragon. So yeah, I'm definitely giving Sasuke's Kirin over Hiei's Dragon of the Darkness Flame. Okay. Now, one other major thing in your video that I have to point out is the whole Genjutsu thing, and how you were saying that, you know, Genjutsu, you know, even though, like, you know, Sasuke does use temporary paralysis, you think that Hiei can get out of the whole Genjutsu deal either by, I guess, feeling some kind of sensation of pain, which is true. If you do get like hurt yourself, or you feel some type of actual physical sensation of pain, you know, then you can break out of Genjutsu. I mean, Sasuke's shown that off before in battle. I think you said Kurenai has before. So definitely that is a way for Hiei to get out of it. I mean, although Hiei wouldn't necessarily know that, if Hiei does get caught in a Genjutsu, like a paralyzing Genjutsu by Sasuke, I can't see how, like, you think that Hiei, like, if Sasuke does somehow cause him some type of pain, that he's automatically going to be able to just be like, yep, I'm good to go, let me go ahead and take out Sasuke now. Just because, let's say Sasuke just stabs him. I don't think that that's necessarily going to, like, that right there is going to save the day for Hiei. Because let's say Sasuke stabs him and he uses Chidori Nagashi, or he runs Chidori down the blade. One thing that, in which Sasuke has used in battle, or he uses the Chidori spear technique. If he uses either one of those techniques, I think Hiei is done. And the reason why I'm saying that is because those techniques also can cause paralysis in a way. Because if you look at when Sasuke fought against, what's his name, Yamato, when he fought against him in Team 7, they all got paralyzed by the Chidori techniques. The other Chidori techniques that Sasuke has can also cause paralysis if he stabs you with them, or he electrocutes you with them. So if Hiei does get Chidori, like, let's say he does get a Chidori sword going right through his body, I definitely don't think it's just going to be as simple as, yeah, I'm free to go. I mean, I definitely think if he's running Chidori straight through Hiei's heart or something, I mean, I personally think Hiei would pretty much be done at that point. You know, or if he's not done, and Sasuke realized that, Sasuke will still be able to come up with a counter, and I definitely don't think that Hiei will be able to move much after that. Now, the last thing I want to mention is Susanoo. Now, the Dragon of the Darkness Flame is something that I know you mentioned a few times in your video. in terms of its destructive power, and it kind of sounds like you think the Dragon of the Darkness Flame would be kind of the thing that would save Hiei in this fight. But at the same time, I really don't see that. I mean, Susanoo, yes, Sasuke can't hold Susanoo up, like, at least Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke can't hold Susanoo up for that long amount of time. I don't feel like it's really needed, because Hiei can only use the dragon so much. Now, he can absorb the dragon and become like the dragon, which increases his speed and power. Which, if let's say Hiei does decide to go ahead and do that and fight Sasuke that way, which, you know, I'm not sure how long he can hold that form, but let's say he can hold it for a long time. I don't think that automatically gives Sasuke the victory, because if you remember, Sasuke, when fighting against the Raikage, what did he use as a defense when Raikage was able to break through the ribcage form of Susanoo? He surrounded it with Amaterasu. And if he surrounds it with Amaterasu, I feel as though, like, there's not really much Hiei can really do. I mean, unless he decides to, like, I don't know if he can use a dragon when he's already absorbed the dragon. So I'm not too sure on that. I mean, you or anybody else can correct me, but I don't think he can. So I mean, if he's literally, if all he can use is his physical brute force at that point, you know, in a way, if he tried to strike Sasuke when he has his entire Susanoo surrounded in Amaterasu, he would be putting himself in danger. So I'm definitely, I mean, in my personal opinion, just to say in a nutshell, I feel like Sasuke's stamina isn't as great as Hiei's, nor is his speed, but I feel like it's enough for him to be able to compete with Hiei in stamina and speed. And what I mean by that is, Hiei, yes, he is faster, but along with the Sharingan, I definitely, and you know, seeing as how fast Sasuke is, I definitely feel like, you know, Sasuke still can be able to, he'll still be able to hang in there in terms of, you know, hand-to-hand combat, close combat. That won't really be much of a problem. And in terms of stamina, I mean, I couldn't see the fight lasting more than a day. I couldn't see it going on for days at a time. I mean, both Sasuke and Hiei both have pretty deadly moves. So, I mean, you know, if either one of them gets hit by something, like something extremely powerful, I don't think it's going to be as simple as, like, I definitely don't think it's going to be anything that's going to drag out for an extended amount of time. You know, in Susanoo, I definitely don't think Sasuke is going to be, I mean, he could use it for, like, several amounts of time, which if he does, and he runs himself low, then Hiei probably will take the fight if he just spams it from the get-go, which I guess you could say Sasuke's kind of been known to do that since he's gotten Susanoo. But if he doesn't do it from, like, he doesn't just do it repeatedly, and he uses it at times that he feels like it's necessary, or uses it in terms of, like, or uses it in parts of the fight where he feels as though, like, it's needed, then maybe he can take it. If Sasuke uses it, like, let's say he's using the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, and he uses it around then, and that's like the only time he uses it, maybe only a few other times, then I definitely think that Sasuke, you know, still has a good chance to take the fight. I think, all I'm trying to say is basically, I think that Sasuke has a greater chance of beating Hiei than Hiei does of beating Sasuke, even though I don't have any kind of, like, mathematical equations like you had, King, but I think that, you know, even though he has fire resistance, you know, the lightning techniques can definitely turn the tide of the battle, since it can paralyze people, and I definitely think Susanoo being Sasuke's defense definitely can make up for some of the destructive capabilities that the Dragon of the Darkness Flame has. Not to mention, I think Kirin is stronger than the Dragon of the Darkness Flame, based on the fact that it did destroy not only the Uchiha hideout, but the mountain that the Uchiha hideout was standing on, and it even destroyed Itachi Susanoo, I believe. So those are pretty much my thoughts on this crossover battle. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope everyone else enjoyed this video as well. Basically, what I think is that Sasuke would take the win. Just leave your thoughts down in the comment section. If you agree with me, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. You know, if you guys like this video, please put a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, you can put a thumbs down. The choice is yours, guys. Also, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content and you would like to see more. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.